Hi, welcome to Viewpoint. Over the years, one of the things I've tried to get across in articles and when speaking at public meetings is that the bedroom tax, benefit sanctions, soaring unemployment, increasing poverty, widening inequality, low pay, 0 hours contracts, tolerance of tax avoidance and a whole range of other issues have not happened as a result of an evil spell cast by bad pixies. All of these things have impacted on our lives because of decisions taken by politicians. Of course, the argument goes that in a democracy, politicians govern with the consent of the people. Therefore, the politicians who took those decisions did so with our support. They couldn't have formed the government if we hadn't given them our consent by electing them. Actually though, that supposed tenet of democracy, that politicians govern with the consent of the people, doesn't apply to Scotland. At least, not while we remain part of the British Union. All of the policies and issues I mentioned have resulted from decisions taken by UK governments comprised of Conservative MPs. At the June 2007 UK election, the Tories won 13 seats in Scotland from a total of 59. They polled just 28% of the vote. By no stretch of the imagination can the Conservatives claim to be governing with the consent of the people of Scotland. But British Unionists tell us that as part of the UK we are better together, and the Tories emerged as the largest party in terms of MPs returned to Westminster from across the whole UK, which is why they have the consent of the people to govern, albeit only with the support of sectarian bigots in the Northern Irish Democratic Unionist Party, which the Tories needed to achieve an overall majority. So, the rule is that in order for us to be better together in the UK, the people of Scotland must accept that our wishes, as democratically expressed at the ballot box, will be ignored, and we will have to accept whatever government is elected by the people of England, and in this current case, Northern Ireland. That has been the way of it for the past 50 years. For the majority of the last half century, Scotland has had UK Tory governments, despite never once voting for them. But according to British Unionists, of course, this is the situation that makes us better together. In fact, the Labour Party in Scotland is so enthralled to the warped logic of British Unionism that its official position remains supporting the right of the Tories to govern Scotland from London, rather than have a Labour government in an independent Scotland. Think about that. They'd rather see the Tories governing Scotland from London than have a Labour government in an independent Scotland. Of course, it's not a new concept for a phrase such as better together being used to describe a situation that in reality results in Scotland having no say over who governs our country in terms of major policy areas such as taxation, social security, employment, defence and foreign affairs. George Orwell, in his dystopian novel 1984, described how those in positions of power would pervert the accepted meaning of words in order to manipulate public opinion and create a belief that a negative situation was actually positive. More recently, Noam Chomsky, the highly respected American philosopher and political commentator, has introduced the concept of manufactured consent, where those in power use the media to create a situation where consent to government policies is manufactured through the creation of what are called necessary illusions. For the British Unionist side in Scotland's independence debate, the immense weakness of its argument is partly concealed by the creation of necessary illusions, such as the use of the phrase better together to describe a situation that actually minimises Scotland's ability to decide their own future and allows power to be retained in the hands of London-based politicians for whom we don't vote. Now, The other side of the doublespeak coin is the presentation of independence as being something that we should be scared of. During the independence referendum campaign of 2014, Alistair Darling, who was the Labour head of the Better Together campaign, Alistair Darling told Scots we would be nothing less than bad parents if we voted for independence. Alistair Darling said this would be like us buying a one-way ticket to send our children to a deeply uncertain destination. That's a direct quote, by the way, Google it. Of course, independence is actually the normal state of affairs for virtually every nation on the face of planet Earth. Independence is the only constitutional position that allows individual nations full control of resources and full powers to legislate in the interests of the people. But a compliant British, Scottish media, including notably the publicly funded BBC, is only too willing to participate in the distortion of reality required to present the normality of independence as negative and the subservient powerlessness of Scotland remaining in the British Union as positive. The anti-independence campaign, which, never forget, was run by political parties based in London, is deeply dishonest. At the core of its argument is the doublespeak phrase, better together. Scotland's future will not be better while we remain as a devolved sub-state within the British Union. A no vote in September 2014 has resulted in continued austerity, deeper cuts to vital public services, more inequality and even more benefit sanctions imposed on the poorest and most vulnerable people in some of the country's most deprived areas. The pro-independence campaign warned this would happen, and the evidence is now all around us to show that's exactly what happened. We're not better together. However, restoring our independence would see us take back all the powers enjoyed and exercised by every normal nation in the world. Independence delivers to us full control of our nation's resources and allows us to implement policies to benefit the people of Scotland. Independence means we will always get the government for which we vote, and in turn fully restores the principles of democracy, including that politicians only have legitimacy when they govern with the consent of the people. Despite their best efforts, British Unionist doublespeak cannot mask the dishonesty of the phrase better together, nor hide the truly positive reality presented by independence and the opportunity to govern our own country in the interests of all the people of Scotland.